Most developers spend years learning how to code, but still can't get clients. I grew a sales team agency to 139K a month by getting really good at finding clients using AI sales systems. Today, I'm testing if these same methods work for developers by pretending to be one and getting clients in real time. I'll show you the entire thing from the beginning, from research to gathering leads to writing a compelling copy, all the way to getting random businesses on the internet interested. So let's spend some money.
So step one is I'm going to position myself as a developer, and I'm going to scrape June 2025 breach lists, which means basically recently hacked companies last month. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect them with cybersecurity companies because they both need each other. I mean, think about it. A company that was recently hacked, right? Obviously, they need cybersecurity companies. It's literally their ideal clients. And cybersecurity companies also are looking for companies that were recently hacked because both of them work together, okay, in unison. And then I'm going to find the CEO of these recently hacked companies, and I'm going to find and verify their emails, and I'm basically going to generate some sort of like personalized copy, and I'm going to reach out to them, okay? And I'm going to do this positioning myself as a developer. Okay, so step one is I'm going to go to this website. It's called BreachSense, okay? If you guys don't know, there's a couple websites such as BreachSense. It's basically like industry databases, okay? Hidden industry databases that they are not shown for the general public. Obviously, you can Google them and find them, but you can't just go ahead and like find them out of the gate. You need to actually do a little bit of research, okay? So I've done a little bit of research and I found this website called BreachSense, and you can find recent data breaches, okay, based off the month, okay, based on the month, okay? So we have 2025, so we have all the recently hacked companies from January all the way to July, which is this month, okay? I might be watching this in like 5 years from now. So this is July 2025. Okay. Now, what do I want? I want to scrape June because it's like last month. Okay. So last month, that way I can get more data. And these are all hacked companies. As you guys can see, we have World Leaks 4Quarter, Landscape Hawaii, NK Customer Solution. So these companies were recently hacked just last month. Okay, so how can I scrape this data? Well, there's multiple ways. You can just scrape the data off HTML, like just scrape the entire page as HTML. You can use Exa for this, so you can just make a request to like a no-code tool called Make.com. Okay, Make.com is basically just like a no-code tool that allows you to connect multiple apps, right, and automate the hell out of them. But I'm going to show you guys a way to do it more efficiently in like one click, okay? So what you need is you need a Google extension. It's an extension called Automat, which is this one. It's Automat, not Automate. Okay, so it's Automat, which is basically like a browser extension that allows you to build workflows, just like Make.com, NA10, etc., but more efficiently, okay? So the best way to scrape a website is basically just using, so if you go to Automa, you're going to see that there's a whole entire documentation for this, okay? This automa.site. Check out their website. It's essentially like NA10. You can build workflows, you can do anything, like anything that you want, really. Okay, so you can see like they are backed by Nespresso, L'Oreal, all this Philips, so huge companies. Okay, so we're gonna use it to scrape the page. Okay, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. So once you download this, okay, so I already have it in my Brave browser. Once you do that, well, simply you're gonna go to the extension. Okay, and then you're gonna click on element selector. So essentially, you can select each element in the page, and then you can retrieve it, which is awesome. So I'm gonna click on it, okay, and now I can basically hover around, and you guys can see I can just click on each block that I want to scrape. So I'm gonna click, boom, okay, and I'm gonna make sure I click on this entire, like, select a list of elements. So click on it, and again, do the same thing. So let me just hover around. Okay, there we go. So now I can click on blocks, select block, and it's going to be get text. So click on execute, and you guys can see we have all these companies just in JSON. So that's how easy it is. So you don't need to like nerd around into like scraping etc. because this is like a browser extension. So I'm just going to copy it. I'm just going to go to u.com Essentially, Yugo.com is basically like an aggregator of multiple AI models, okay? It's free, you can use it. So instead of just going to ChatGPT or like Claude, they give you multiple models for free and you can pay as you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this entire thing and then I'm going to say structure the data while maintaining. So maintaining the same naming conventions for consistency. So structure the data or the data sets in JSON, and I'm going to paste in everything here. And then I'm going to use 3.7 net, web search disabled, and I'm going to go save and close. All right. There we go. So it finished. It took a little bit of time, like 2 minutes. So now I can just copy it, okay? And then essentially now we have this JSON. I can just dump it in a Google Sheets and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to go to make.com. Make.com is just a no-code tool, okay? So everything is going to be super, super easy, as you guys can see. Even if you are a beginner, if you follow along, everything is going to be super, super easy, okay? We just use an extension, right? We just use an extension, and then we fed this to an AI model to structure the data, okay? Now, all you have to do is you're going to have to add a JSON in make.com. So parse JSON, and then I'm going to paste everything here. Now, if I click on save, Make is going to yell at me. So I just ignore warnings. And there we go. As you can see here, I have the bundle, have everything here. So I have around 70 bundles. Okay. Now this is basically like parsing the JSON so I can get the data as plain text and then do whatever I want to it. Okay. So I'm just going to name this structure or parse JSON. And then we're going to dump everything into Google Sheets. Okay. So I'm going to go to sheets.new. And then I'm just going to name this, for example, recently. So recently breached companies 2025. And then I'm going to put company here. So company. And I'm going to add persona. And then I'm going to add, actually, do I need the persona? I'm not going to add the persona. I'm just going to add the company for now. I'm going to change the font to geese. Okay. And then there we go. I'm going to put everything in not bold because sometimes it's just going to give me this bold character. So now I'm going to iterate. Okay. So reason why I want to iterate is because I want to dump all these companies here. Okay. So so we have company name and we also have threat actor. Okay. So we have the website. All right. So we need to add victim. Yeah, I forgot about this. So victim. And then we also have threat actor. Threat actor. Okay. And then date discovered. Yes. Date discovered. Okay. Date discovered. I don't care about the description because I'm not going to use it. Okay. So sweet. Now I'm going to click on the iterator. So by going to flow control, iterator, and I'm going to have to add the data breach report. Let me check. Yes. So I'm going to add the data breach report. Now, if I click on save, I'm going to see that I can iterate on 70 bundles. Okay. So 70 bundles and I have an array. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an aggregator. So I'm going to go to flow control aggregator. Basically, I'm just aggregating the data so I can dump it. So I'm going to go to iterator and then I'm going to get the company name and the data breach report. Okay. I'm going to run once. Okay. And then I'm going to add a sheets. So add a row and I'm simply going to dump everything to a Google Sheets. Okay. So I'm going to go to this account right here. And then I'm going to go to spreadsheet ID. Recently breached companies. Sheet name is going to be sheet 1. And then the company is going to be the company name. Okay, so victim, this is the victim. Threat actor is going to be threat actor. And date discovered is going to be date discovered. Okay, check this out. Now, if I run once, I'm going to aggregate. So there we go. So awesome. Done. Okay, sweet. So I've aggregated everything. Let me just make this not bold. Okay, and now I have everything. All right, sweet. So now I have all this data, just 70 companies, and I can still generate some leads because even if just 3 or 4 like reply positively, they can turn into like high paying clients because it's not about volume here, guys. It's all about being like a sniper. All right. This is exactly what I teach. Okay. Not just spray and pray. So this is the Google Sheets now. So now I can just delete this entire thing, or maybe I can just leave it so you guys can actually follow along in the resource. So I'm just going to name this structure, data, and dump to sheets. Okay. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to create a new scenario by going to scenarios and create a new scenario. Well, now since I have the victim and I also have the company, I can essentially just find the emails of the CEO, just like we talked about. So find CEO and find their email, like they're verified their email. Okay. So I'm going to use a platform called an email finder to find this, emails of these decision makers. I can use my own email enrichment platform, which is this SaaS that I'm currently building. But I know that people that are going to be watching this, you guys don't have access to it. So I'm just going to use an email finder. Okay. So I'm just going to go to Google Sheets and I'm going to go to search rows. Okay. And I'm going to go to this sheets. And then I'm going to go to spreadsheet ID and I'm going to go recently breached companies. Essentially, I'm just mapping, right, the Google Sheets here in Make. And then I'm going to go to sheet name. Obviously, it's going to be sheet 1 because it's sheet 1 here, right? Concede sheet 1, sheet 1. Okay. So limits, just make sure it's 1 for now. And then you're going to have to refresh this again. So click on it. This is what I mean by refreshing it and click on save. And then if you run once, you're essentially going to get the data. Okay. So now this is going to be search rows. And then I'm going to click on this plus button. And then I'm going to use an email finder. Okay. An email finder. Let me just walk you guys through it. Essentially, an email finder is just a way to find emails. I'm going to go to app. Okay. Once you sign up, I have an account here. I'm going to go to API and this is my API key. So copy it. Go to, search. Okay. Search for a company's email. Search for a decision maker email. Okay. I'm going to click on add and paste it here and save. I'm going to go to search by domain, since I have the domain, which is domain, which is the victim. And then the category is going to be CEO. Okay. Save. And I'm going to find the email. There we go. So I found the email. Okay. So this is the guy, Joseph Maria Sainz. Okay. So I need to retrieve the full name from here. I can use a formula, but sometimes like the first name, we're going to have like a full name that has 3 names for this guy and it's super annoying. So I'm just going to use an AI model that just retrieved the full name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Azure. Azure is essentially just a way to get access to GPT-4o. So I'm going to create a chat completion. Obviously, you can use any AI model that you want. So GPT-4o, okay? And then user, and I'm going to say content text. And I'm going to say return the first name from the following full name, which is going to be person full name. And I'm going to give an example. So for example, Joseph Maria Saint equals Joseph. Or let me actually return the first name from the following name in the correct JSON as results, because sometimes it's going to be inconsistent. Yes, results. And then I'm going to close the brackets. So for example, equals results Joseph. And then again, I'm going to feed in my name, Saad. Result equals Saad. There we go. And then now I'm going to add a filter here, only if email exists. So email found. Save. And then now if I run once, the API that does not exist. Okay. Okay, let me just refresh. Oh. GPT 4o. 4o. Let me run once. There we go. So, Joseph. Okay, so I'm gonna have to exclude JSON, and then I'm gonna have to increase the token. Yeah, token limits. So I'm gonna go to show advanced settings, and then the token limits is gonna be 750, not that much. And then I'm gonna go and say return exclude JSON, output the finalized JSON with no additional text. Now I'm not gonna have that issue. So check this out. So results, Joseph. Now I can just parse this JSON as JSON. So parse, and then I can just simply paste it here. So parse, and now check this out. Run anyway. There we go. Joseph. So I can use this in my copy as in hey first name, okay? And it's all gonna make sense at the end, guys. Okay, so this is gonna be clean name. Okay, sweet. So now, I have the emails, I have the first name. Well, what do? Well, I need to generate some sort of copy. We finished scraping the data. Now I'm gonna position myself as a developer using this copy. So hey first name, hey Joseph, saw a company in the news about the threat actor breach on date discovered, because we have the date. As you guys can see, we have the date and we have the threat actor, okay? And we have the company name. This is basically just like a template, okay? I am a developer who connects companies with cybersecurity vendors who have helped prevent follow-on attacks after incidents like this, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to use something called an anti-fragile method. An anti-fragile method is a method that I came up with when I was scaling my agency around 40K a month. And I noticed that AI can be very, very bad at writing emails, okay? And very bad at like writing personalized lines. So I was like, how can I come up with a better way? So the better way is just to write a handwritten email, right? For example, I wrote this by hand and I just said, okay, what are the data that I can get? So I can get their company name, I can get the threat actor, I can get the date discovered. So I'm going to build a copy around this template. And after that, AI is just going to read through the templates and it's just going to fill those variables, okay? Which is exactly what I teach, right? So I'm just going to copy this entire thing, right? And I'm going to feed it to like a template. The best way to do it is I'm going to go to click this plus button and I'm going to add an Azure OpenAI, create a chat completion, and I'm going to show you guys the magic. So I'm going to go GPT, make sure I write it correct, and then role is going to be user and content is going to be text. And I'm going to say generate a statement similar to, and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to have to make sure is this a placeholder. There we go. Copy, paste this here. And I'm going to say example, perfect output. And the perfect output would be, for example, saw my process about the Kraken breach on June 30, 2025. Those kind of incidents suck out the air out of the room. And that's pretty much it. Yes. Okay. All right. Sweet. So generate a statement, and I'm going to add the data that I have. So company would be company, and then threat actor would be threat actor, and then date discovered would be date discovered. Output nothing but the finalized result. Do we need to do this in JSON? Yes, in the correct JSON as results. Maybe we do not need to do it as JSON, but we're going to have to see. Okay, so I'm going to increase the token limit to 3060. So 3060. Okay, I'm going to save, and then I'm going to see. There we go. That was pretty quick. So saw Anubis Cosmetic in the news about the Kraken breach on June 30, 2025. Those kind of incidents suck the air out of the room. Awesome. So this is going to be an anti-fragile method. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this plus button. And then I'm simply going to structure my dream email by going to tools, set variable. And this is going to be dream email. And then I'm going to say, hey, first name. And I'm going to add this. And I'm going to add this right here. And I'm going to add the last copy. I'm going to have to add another line and another line and another line here and save. Now let's check this out. So there we go. Hey, Joseph, saw cannabis. What the hell? So Anubis, I am a developer who connects companies. All right. So I am a developer. Okay, sweet. So now I have this copy. So I'm just going to name this dream email. Okay. And now I'm going to plug everything, basically dump everything that I have in Instantly, which is going to be my cold email software. So I can start reaching out to them. So I'm simply going to go to Instantly. I'm going to close all these tabs so you guys don't get overwhelmed. And I'm going to create a new campaign. I'm going to show you guys how to create a campaign Instantly. Very easy. I'm going to verify I am human. Okay. And then I'm going to log in. And then I'm going to go to campaigns. And then I'm going to add new. And I'm going to name this recently hacked with cyber. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to show you guys how to authenticate your account. So go to integrations and then go to API, right? Which is API keys. And then go to version 1. Okay. Not version 2. Go to API version 1 and then go back to make and then look for Instantly. And it's going to be add leads to a campaign. Click on this. Go click on this at and paste it here and save. You can name this whatever you want. So I'm going to go to campaign ID. I'm going to get access to the campaign, which is recently hacked. The email is the email that I found. And then the first name, the first name is the first name. The last name is, we're going to have to just use a split formula. So split base of a space and then get two. We're splitting Joseph. Well, not literally, and then splitting based of a space, and then we're getting 1, 2, 3, which is getting 2. Okay, just because this guy has 3 names is why we get in 2. But obviously, the second names, not everyone has like 3 names, just like this guy just popped out of nowhere. So I'm just gonna use company here, and the personalization is gonna be the dream email. Okay, now let's check this out. So if I run once. Obviously, it's going to be super quick. And then if I go to Instantly, go to my campaign, I'm going to see that I added my lead here. Okay, very easy. Now, simply, I can just add personalization here. Boom, I have everything. Okay, so I have everything here, and I'm going to write some of the follow-ups here. I'm going to show you guys how to write a follow-up. I'm going to do hey first name. So hey first name. Just wanted to circle back. Companies impacted by breaches often have a 90-day window where recovery matters most. Should we line up for a quick call to explore options? SOD, Mayo process. Save. Now the last follow-up, I'm going to go to add step and I'm going to say, hey, first name. Won't keep chasing. Just thought this might be worth exploring after the last incident. If not, I'll step back. Thanks for the time. Sad. Okay, we forgot to add another thanks for the time. Always make sure to be grateful for the time, okay? So, is this worth your time? Thanks, or let's just do best. Sad. MyProcess.com. Or maybe MyProcess, I'm going to add sent from my iPhone. And I'm going to save. So there we go. Awesome. I'm going to say, so subject line about company name is recent incident. There we go. This is good. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to have to run the entire thing. So I'm just going to remove this entire limit. And I'm going to run the entire thing. So I'm going to go to save. There we go. And then I'm going to launch the campaign. Okay. So now I'm going to go to schedule. So schedule Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Save. I'm going to go to options and then I'm just going to use my accounts. There we go. Okay, and then show advanced. So Google sends to Google and all. Okay. And Microsoft send to all. Okay. And let's see. So the leads are getting added. So I'm just going to wait a little bit and then everything is going to be good. Okay. Okay, so this is a couple hours later. Been taking a lot of walks lately. The weather is beautiful. So we received 3 positive replies and 1 out of office. So this is the initial email that I sent. I said, hey, Darren, saw Bitches Electrics in the news about the play breach on June 30, 2025. Those kind of incidents suck the air out of the room. And then the guy literally said, hi, yes. I'd be open to hearing more. What vendors are you working with and how do they typically help companies in situations like ours? Thank you, Darren. And this is the guy. Okay. So this is the company. Let me check this company. What do they do? So yeah, obviously the website is down. Well, I mean, it's not working. It's not working. It's not my internet. Okay. Okay, now it worked. Finally. Budget.com. That's a really good website. Like, this is a domain, like budget.com. Like, they would sell this for millions of dollars. Think about it. So they do have the money. 100%. Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, it's kind of like Uber? Yeah, it's kind of like Uber. Check this out. Wow. Obviously, they got hacked. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first reply. Now let's look at the second reply. This guy literally said, hi, yes, let's set up a quick call to discuss this further. Do you have availability this week? Best X. Yeah, that's interesting. Talk about synchronicities. I sent this at 11 and 11 a.m. By the way, this is an angel number. So this is the first email, and this is how the guy actually responded, which is absolutely insane. Now, 2 positive replies. Let's look at the third one. So the first email is, hey Jeff, saw Carter Bearings and the news about the play breach on June 30. This guy said, hey, I appreciate your reach. Now we're actively evaluating partners to tighten our defenses. When would be a good time to chat? So, wow, like let's check this website. So Carter Bearings, what do they do? Yeah, these are big companies. You know when like a company is making a lot of money when they have like such a basic website. Yeah. So as you guys can see, like these are literally people saying, yes, let's talk. Like, let's hop on a call. Let me pay you money. So this just gets to show how like even like very small, like a small list can get you so far. It's not about like spray and pray. It's not about volume. At the end of the day, it's about being relevant and timely, as you guys can see. So there we go. Let's just go ahead and dissect why this company let's just go ahead now and dissect why we had such good responses. Okay. So, hey Jeff, saw Carter Bearings in the news about the play breach on June 30. So this is like just cuts through the noise. Like I'm reaching out because there's X, Y, and Z. So X and Y and Z. So it's very relevant and timely. Like I have a reason why, like I know why I'm reaching out and I have the date, exactly the date. And then I'm saying, hey, I'm a developer. Okay. So this gives me instant social proof because I'm reaching out to them because they're going to be like, who are you? Well, I'm a developer. So there we go. Like this is your new positioning. Okay. So like a lot of people, like there are developers that I know, they're like, I'm just a developer. So, well, you are a developer. That's your little color. That's your social proof. You know, no one can take this from you. Right now, you just cut through the noise of every person trying to do outreach. So I'm a developer who connects companies with cybersecurity vendors that have helped prevent follow-on attacks. So essentially, like this just makes sense. You know, it just makes sense. I'm reaching out because I saw this and it's true, and I can help you connect you with X or Y and Z. You know, Is this worth your time? So this is a soft CTA. So I'm saying, is this worth your time? Like, obviously, whenever you do outreach, you want to ask people, like, is this worth your time? Not just go ahead and say, hey, talk to me now. Nobody talks like this. And this is how people are not going to respond to you. Okay. So there we go, guys. We just essentially just did a really good outreach, positioning ourselves as a developer, right? So right now, I've done it as a student, now as a developer. So what's next, right? So it just gets to prove that whatever you are in life, whatever position you are in life, you can always crush it. Okay. So the only thing you have to do now is essentially just get out there, take action. I believe in you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.